Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this Ag Forecast video for South America, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We're going to start again today with a look here at our satellite-derived precipitation around the world. And as we focus in here on South America, I want to pay very close attention to what's going on in Argentina and southern Brazil. Okay, those are the two areas I want to target most importantly. So let's get this playing. As we kind of walk through here, going through the 1st, now the 2nd, into the 3rd of April, we did watch a pretty sizable thunderstorm cluster right there on the 5th that came out of northern Argentina. So just for orientation here, Buenos Aires is here, Cordoba is right into this area. So this is northern Argentina getting into Paraguay. But throughout this entire animation, we do notice that much of southern Brazil was dry. The monsoon was not putting down a lot of precipitation in this section of eastern Brazil. And then as you get over into parts of like Mato Grosso, we saw more normal precipitation. Let's just play this on out to get up to the most present day. So that thunderstorm cluster tried to move through southern Brazil, but overall, as I let this play through, you notice that through early in the morning here on the 8th, we didn't see much precip. But this is going to be the target that we're going to watch. See that frontal boundary right into there? Let's talk about what that's going to do by going straight over to our operational European run. There you can see it, okay? This will be the front that as we walk our way through just the next few days here, this is through the day on Thursday, getting into Friday, now getting into Saturday, and Sunday. Did you notice what I saw there? That slow-moving front serves as a boundary on which, I'm just rocking back forth here from Thursday through Sunday, serves as a boundary on which we expect to see a lot of thunderstorm activity down here in Argentina and into Uruguay. But as that front advances farther to the north, you see it then splits off into a low that cuts off the coast. So there that is. This would be Sunday afternoon. And we do not see the models really bringing in much precipitation overall to Mato Grosso do Sul, Paraná, Santa Catarina, and then down toward Rio Grande do Sul. This is an area that I'm concerned about through the next week is going to continue to be drier, while we might see more normal, for this time of year, more normal monsoonal moisture to the north. So maybe what we can do is we'll just flip over here and look at a 7-day anomaly on this precipitation pattern. So what we've got here is that slow-moving boundary. This is what really increases the rainfall amounts in that area, and that hits it really targets some prime ground in Argentina. But notice from Mato Grosso do Sul down to Rio Grande do Sul, cutting through Paraná, drier. Like we said, in Mato Grosso, we are seeing more normal monsoonal rainfall, but the question is, how long does that last? So why don't we just jump from week 1 now fully into week 2? And this is what the latest European ensemble is showing. The trend toward wetter than normal conditions kind of north and east of that line has been pretty robust. We've seen that in multiple model runs. I think it has a lot to do with the MJO going over into phase 7 and possibly into phase 8. But what I'm concerned about is that the models are really reluctant to put precipitation down. In fact, bring in higher pressure into this area in southern Brazil and this section of Argentina as we get out into the week 2 time period. And if this manifests itself, that would then be a pretty long stretch at drier weather in Brazil's southern growing areas, and we'll just have concern about the quality of the crop in that area. But let's talk about that MJO relationship, okay? So we've been talking about in our other videos that the MJO is coming out into phase 7, and if it moves from phase 7 into phase 8, which is what the European ensemble is suggesting that it would do, that again is just correlated here, if you notice, from 7 to 8 with wetter conditions in this region, drier to the south. And we saw that the models wanted to do that, and it seems to be that the MJO is the most dominant tropical mode, given that we've lost our El Nino, La Nina signal. We don't have either, okay? The trade winds are not in a certain configuration that conforms to a particular pattern across the tropics. Long story short, we don't see the big easterly wind bursts we get with a La Nina, nor do we see big pockets of anomalously westerly trade winds. And therefore, it's pointing more toward an MJO-dominated tropical mode is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I seem to be seeing this 7 to 8 transition here being critical. Now, what is interesting about all of this is that the longer term ECMWF doesn't show the same thing. It wants to be honest, it just wants to shove the MJO here and leave it. So what we're looking at now is different from this. This is just the next the next 15 days, 14 days. This is what things look like when you go all the way out through the next month. And you see how the MJO just tends to stall in this area? I've been calling this into question. I don't think it can necessarily, I don't think it's going to do that. I could be wrong, of course, but I actually think it's going to come back out into null phase and possibly pop out again over on this side of the diagram. I don't think it's going to go over to the Indian Ocean, but I think some of the tropical activity happening north of north of Australia, and then here in the Indian Ocean is what is, I think, controlling what's going on with the MJO, making it quite challenging to use it as a forecasting metric. So let's step back to the models and just get another view here. This is what the long-range forecast for April 14th through May 14th looks like. And again, until I see different, I'm going to be mostly concerned about southern Brazil's growing areas being continuing to stay on the drier side of things. And a lot of the precip that you see here is coming in the next 2 weeks. The monsoon typically runs out at the end of April and the beginning of May. So we're watching a major slowdown here. So just understand that these anomalies, you know, they mean something different this time of year than they would in January and February and March, as an example. So let's keep an eye on it. Southern Brazil seems to be the target area that we're most concerned about. And we'll wrap this one up here. Appreciate your attention. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.